NFC football, AFC football. Wait, no, divisional playoffs. The teams that have made it into this round will struggle and fight the toughest battle of their lives to get to the respective conference championships, unto which serves as the stepping stone into the big game, the big one, the Super Bowl. All right. Yeah, they'll struggle, all right, just like I've struggled to get into the broadcasting field for the past 14 years, but the only difference between my conundrum and their conf, I'm just not really good. So let's go ahead and muff dive into the numbers. Let's start with Atlanta at the City of Brotherly Shove. That's a 4:35 Eastern start at the Link in South Philly. Atlanta's the 2.5-point favorites on the spread. Meanwhile, the total moved 2.5 points downward to an even 42 flat. Currently, the Falcons are the 3-2 favorites on the money line to win this one straight up. And at the moment, there's still a 48% shade toward the Eagles. There are certainly some believers in that Eagles D out there, optimists. And to be honest with you folks, I was really surprised that the Falcons were only favored by 2.5. I thought it would have been more. Obviously, the odds makers have the same eye test that we do. We're watching the same games, the same teams. But there's a lot of experts out there that thought it would open up as a pick. So we've all seen Philly play in the last couple of weeks. We've all seen them fail to cover every game in the new Foles regime. I thought this one would have opened up, personally, 7-8, but I was way off the mark, even with the fact that the Falcons are traveling. But regardless, those are the numbers. Here are some of the trends. Once again, Philly's 0-3 against the number in their 3 games with Folesy at the helm. Nick did, in fact, close out that Rams game back on December 10th. Came in for an injured Carson Wentz, went 6 of 10, sealed the game up, got the cover. So I guess if you're an Eagles sympathizer, that stat certainly counts for something. And really, if you think about it, that 6-0 loss to the Cowboys in Week 17 only saw Foley for about a quarter of the game. The 2 games where he played start to finish, they did go 2-0 straight up. He put up 34 on the GMed, and he snuffed out the Raiders on Christmas night. But I said it last week, and I'll say it again this week. The Falcons have caught fire at just the right time. And, oh man, did they look good this past week in the wild card round against the Rams. Atlanta trends here for you. 2-0 ATS last 2, 6-3 ass to mouth in their last 9. Atlanta's 3-0 covering in their last 3 road games. And the Falcons against the spread are also 7-5 against winning ball clubs, 6-5 versus teams allowing less than 21 a game, and 71% in their games at the current point spread. Now, these Atlanta games, for some reason, continue to have the under faded, and it must be due to the fact that they played the Rams and New Orleans twice in the past couple of weeks. Those are some really high-powered offenses. But if you take in a contrarian approach on the total in these Atlanta games recently, you've certainly been cleaning house. Tons of unders in these Falcon games. 4-0 to the under last 4. 6-0 to the under in their last 6. The Falcons are giving up just 11 points per contest on average in their last pair of games. Meanwhile, on the other side, the Eagles have pounded a few unders in the Nick Foles era, 2-1 to the under in their last 3. But once again, that Week 17 game versus Dallas only had Nick Foles in there for about a quarter of the game. So realistically, his fully completed games are 1-1 to the under for the year. All said and done, though, a play toward the under is probably the most sensible, although Atlanta's averaged 23 points a game in their last 4 victories. The one thing I'm fairly confident on, this Atlanta team advancing. I know, it hurts, it stings. But all told, I'm going to purchase the hook, buy it down, and take the Atlanta Falcons -2, getting the job done against the number. All right, next game I have for you, it is going to be the other NFC contest, and I'm talking about New Orleans, Minnesota. 4:40 Eastern start this Sunday. Minnesota opened 3.5, and I've actually seen them move up as high as 4.5 in a few shops. Total open 44.5, moved upward to 45 flat. Currently, the Vikes are the 2-1 favorites to win it outright. And at the moment, the Saints are taking nearly 60% of the current action, so don't look for that 4.5 number to last very long at all. Now, the Saints are taking money, but it has nothing to do with their trends as of late. The Saints are just 1-3 ATS last 4, 2-6 covering in their last 8. But with those trends in mind, you got to keep in mind that the Saints ball club is one of the best covering teams in the league when it comes to playing good teams. New Orleans against the spread is 6-3 versus teams over 500. New Orleans against the spread is also 6-3 versus teams giving up less than 21 points a contest. The Saints have also garnered themselves some marquee covers over the likes of the Falcons, Panthers, and Buffalo. They're going up against a Minnesota team who might be the best of those 3 aforementioned teams. However, Minnesota got themselves 11 successful covers on the year thus far, and they are 6-2 covering at home. But if you're leaning toward the Vikes, if you're shaded toward the Vikes, and you're looking for them to cover the number, just remember, they've covered only 2 of 5 games that kicked off at the current posted total, and they also failed to cover in 2 of their last 4. They also failed to cover over the likes of Detroit and Chicago twice. So if you think this Minnesota squad is a lock to get it done, you might be sweating this one out a little more than you presumed. Now, total-wise, a lot of unders in these Minnesota games. Great defense. I haven't seen a defense play like that in years. 3-1 to the under in their last 4. New Orleans games, though, completely different story. 3-1 to the over in their last 4 themselves. I'm thinking this one stays low, but the markets have seen this line move upward. So I'm going to fade a play on the total in this one. I am liking the Saints plus the points here, though, and they even get the play indoors. And believe me, this is no knock on Minnesota. They should probably win this one outright. But when it comes to the number, I love the Saints getting a few here in this spot. So I'll hold. I'll fold. All told, I'm going to make a purchase of the hook, buy it up, and take the New Orleans Saints plus 5, getting the job done against the number. All right, next game I have for you, we're going to slide into the AFC, and I'm talking about Tennessee, New England, 8:15 East at Foxborough. Big number in this one. New England's 13.5 with the total at an even 47 flat. The Patriots are also the 9-1 favorites to win this game outright. But if you're a Tennessee backer in this one, you're actually not alone. 49% of the betting public thinks the Titans can keep it close and cover that double-digit spread. The other 51% thinks that the Pats are going to absolutely decimate Tennessee. And here's why. The Patriots are 3-1 ATS last 4, 9-1 ass to mouth last 10. New England against the spread's also 11-5 overall, 5-3 at Gillette Stadium, 69% covering as the favorite. And if that ain't enough, this New England squad against the numbers also 5-3 as the home favorite and 4-2 covering against winning ball clubs. But if you want to find a small chink in the armor, there are just a few things, not many, just a couple, but there are a few things I can point out that just might make you rethink your lean toward the Pats. Number one is this. The Pats tend to not cover as much when they're well rested. I get it. That stat sounds ridiculous, but hear me out. New England's failed to cover 2 of 4 games after having 8 or more days off. Once again, when New England played a game after more than 8 days of rest, they covered just 2 of 4. New England has also gone 0-1 in their lone game against the number that kicked off at the current posted total. All right. And look at the body of work. I mean, they've been great, but New England's actually failed to cover over the likes of Houston, Miami, and the New York Jets. So if you think the Pats are a lock, don't be surprised if you might be sweating this one out just a little bit. Now, New England is also going up against a Tennessee squad who's been absolute covering machines as of late. These guys have been incredible against the number. The Titans, whom I, at many points in this season, referred to as paper and fraudulent, are 4-0 ATS in their last 4, 6-1 ass to mouth in their last 7. And if you've been backing these guys in the past couple of months, you've been cashing in some serious tickets at the window. And overall, Tennessee's been pretty good against the number for the year. 10-7 covering overall, depending on where you're shopping at. 3-2 covering as the dog, catching points. 4-1 covering over winning ball clubs. Now, I like what I saw out of Mariota. He should be able to keep this one within a few scores if he keeps it up. And that self-pass and the scrambling was just awesome. I loved it. Now, scoring-wise, 2-0 to the under in the Titans' last 2. 5-2 to the under in their last 7. Similar story with these New England games. 3-1 to the under last 4. 5-2 to the under last 7. That in mind, it really feels like a 27-20 game to me. I don't know why. But with the Patriots atop the league as a dominant covering team, I can't say with absolute certainty that Tennessee can or will keep it that close. Plus, when you have a total open relatively high at 47 points, it typically means the markets are expecting a little bit of offense in this one. So, all told, we saw a Tennessee team play last week, who I haven't seen in a really long time. They looked awesome. But I'm not sure if we'll see the Tennessee Titans or the Paper Titans return this weekend. I really don't know. So, all told, if you have a beat on this game, please do us all a solid and give us that winning pick in the comment section below. Do it, all right? And if you do that, it will be greatly appreciated by the bettors, by the people who appreciate football. And if you do that, you will certainly be held greatly accountable for the outcome of the game. All right, I'm going to slide into the next and final game for this video, and I'm talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Pittsburgh Steelers. 1:05 Eastern start this Sunday at Heinz 57 Fancy Ketchup Stadium. No real surprises with the opening lines in this one. Pittsburgh opened 7, now 7.5. Total open 41, now 40.5. Currently, the Steelers are the $3.50 favorites to win it, and at the moment, just 48% of the handles shaded toward the Jags. Jacksonville has struggled against the number as of late. Just 1-3 ATS last 4, 3-4 ass to mouth in their last 7. The Jags are also 0-3 covering in their last 3 road games. Traveling, they're also averaging just 10 points of scoring in their last couple of games as well. They're going up against a well-rested, newly focused Pittsburgh squad. 3-1 in their last 4, 10-1 in their last 11. And when it comes to the number, this Pittsburgh squad's been real good against winning ball clubs. Thus far, the Steelers are 4-2 against the spread versus teams over 500. So although they haven't been scorching hot against the number as of late, kind of struggled to cover in these last couple of games, the Steelers squad has covered 4 of 6 on the year versus winning ball clubs. Now scoring-wise, 2-2 to the over in Pittsburgh's last 4, 2-2 to the over for Jacksonville, same category. As for me, I'm not real interested in a play on the total, although the markets and the bettors are expecting a low one. I do like the Steelers to get it done against the number, though, in the Steel City. I think bettors on both sides are actually getting exceptional value with this 7.5 number, no matter what side you're leaning toward. But all told, though, as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to purchase the hook, buy it down, and take the Pittsburgh Steelers -7, getting the job done against the number. All right, folks, that is going to do it for me. Before I get out of here, I have to remind you, I am not a sports betting expert, nor do I implore you to take any of my picks. A wise man once said, good ain't free, and free ain't good. For some reason you decide to use the free information on this program, you're utilizing it at your own discretion. Most importantly, if you're betting any of these games, do it safe, do it responsibly, and most important, have fun. For Brock Page Productions, I'm Brock Page, and have yourself a positive day.